Hello everyone, it is Monday and you're in class with a substitute teacher, not with me. So here we go, here's your lesson for today. Everybody should have their paper with them. They should have a pencil of some sort. An eraser is fine. If you draw really lightly, you shouldn't need it. You need some sort of straight edge. So I've got this stencil-y thingy. And yeah, let's go. What we're gonna do today is tiles. So remember all your rules here. The rules are you need to have all of your diagonals going to the vanishing point. You also have all kinds of lines in each corner. So the break to this rule is we're gonna have a guideline, and that guideline actually goes on the horizon line someplace. It doesn't go on the horizon line. It goes to a vanishing point on the horizon line. Okay, so let's build some tiles. So let's say right up here is my vanishing point, and I'm gonna have my floor going. Now this could be bricks on the side of a wall, a checkerboard that's somehow on a wall. Okay. So make sure that your lines are horizontal. So this is my floor coming towards us. And then I'm gonna have a wall that goes over here. And I may as well, you know what, I'll just make a step. And I'll make that go right back here. So that's just a box. If you look at it carefully, that's just a box so that you're walking along and you step up and then you keep walking along. So this is my creative burst for today. And then wherever that happens, we can have a line going up from there. Okay? Now, I don't care what kind of measurement you use, but the first step in building these things is to have equidistant marks written on here somewheres. So equidistant lines, that's step number one. So I would mark that across, mark that across, mark that across, wherever I want to have it. But it has to stay the same distance away from you. So you wouldn't use the same measurement up here as you use back there. So here's what I mean. If I do a measurement that is, I don't know, half of this thing. So you can use your paper, your straight edge. I just marked on my stencil, you can see there. So I'm just gonna go from here, and I call it whatever line I wanna call it. It's not a centimeter, it's less than a centimeter. And I try and be as exact as I can. And it goes over past there. Oops. So see how that goes past? That's okay. So especially if I end this line right here. So if I drop that one right there, I'm gonna create a corner. And obviously your drawing is not going to look the same as mine unless you build in some sort of a step there. Okay, so that can go off the page. I can get rid of this diagonal line with my handy dandy eraser. Okay, I can use this measurement going up the wall. So let's say I wanted it to go across this way. Okay, or I want to move those over. Now is the time to do that if you want to make that tile match and stick in there. So let's say I want to make this one just as tall, and I want to have that going there. And I want to have this one, look, it's like half of that mark. So I'm going to go right there, that's halfway, and then I'll just wrap it around, make it halfway up here, as if the tile somehow wrapped around there. Because I can do that. I'm the creator in this world. I can do that. So there's my marks. Oh, I got a message, you guys. Aren't you happy? Can you feel the buzz, the tingle? Woo! All right. So I've gone right across there, and again, I don't quite end at the right spot, but that's okay. I've got a line that's gonna go across there. So the problem isn't figuring out how wide these go. We know how wide to make. Like this could be a tile right here. That could be one tile. That could be another tile. We know how wide to make it because we know our diagonals go back to the vanishing point. What we don't know is how far back do we go. So, for example, if the tile is this big, this tall, when it gets there, how tall is the next one? And then how tall is the next one? Because it should be getting bigger, bigger, bigger. So what I'm gonna do is give myself a guideline. The guideline, remember this is your horizon line, right there somewheres. Horizon line. I'm gonna create a guideline that's gonna give me something, but first I need a bowling alley. So everybody needs a bowling alley. You were just sitting there thinking to yourself, man, I wish I had a bowling alley right now. So we start with equidistant marks. Go ahead and do those equidistant marks if you haven't already. You can pause the video and then you can unpause. Oh, look, I'm back again. And we're gonna create a bowling alley. A bowling alley just means you want to be able to bowl down here and have gutters on the sides. And the gutters, as they're coming close, if we were a pin and we were looking back towards a bowler, right? Got a ball there. Oh, we cross the line. So if he's going to cross that line and he's going to bowl towards us, you know, where's that going to go? It's going to get bigger as it comes towards us. So all I'm going to do, these are diagonals. All I'm going to do is come back from the vanishing point through this mark. Now I'm not marking here. Notice the difference? I'm marking through there where the X is. So it doesn't matter how long I make that mark, any of those marks, they're just there, right? So it's where they cross over. That's the one I want. So where that crosses over, I could put my pencil on the page and stop my straight edge. And then I go from here all the way down off the screen. Okay, I don't have to go all the way back here. I'm just showing you that I did that. So instead, I'll just lay that right there and start from that point. Same thing there. From there through that mark. Fantastic. As we go over, even on a vertical, it does not matter. So if I want a tile that goes there, I'm going to go to here. Now I know how tall the tile is going to be at that corner, just like when we measured doors and windows, because that's going to come across. So I can go across here with it. And that's kind of a cool idea too. Okay, so I'll just come across and see where that leads us to. I'll put tiles on a different surface. Now this tile wraps around and I'm going to go there. So it doesn't matter, again, if it's a vertical or a horizontal surface. And now I know where it goes here. So I'm actually going to do this front face right now because I already know that this would drop down straight. And that's where that tile would be. So I've actually started drawing these tiles. That's where that one would go. Right there. And you'll notice I'm getting more and more horizontal as I go across with my bowling alley. And it's like a windshield wiper. Do you know when your windshield wipers are in the middle, they're really far apart and they don't change where they pivot from, that attachment point? I'm running out of ruler here. So they don't change. Like your windshield wiper is like this and like this on your windscreen or your windshield. Okay, so let's say that's our windshield right here. There's one in the middle and one on the driver's side. And they sit down close to each other and then they wrap up and around. So when they're up here, they're the furthest apart that they can get. When they go a little bit past, then they get a little bit closer. But when they drop down this way, one line gets really close to the other line, even though those two things didn't get further apart. That's why these ones look far apart as they come right towards us, and these ones look like they're getting together. But if we measured that distance, we already know that this distance is the same as it was over here. So let that melt your brain for a minute while you're drawing. Oops, my pencil dropped off the ledge, the thickness. And it's almost at the horizon line that happens. So at the vertical, so there we go, there's all my lines. okay? My bowling alley. Then I'm gonna need my guideline. So pause the video if you haven't seen this, I'll just let that sit. And you can pause the video, draw all your lines, okay. Now everybody's back, awesome. So welcome back. You look fantastic, you smell terrific. I can smell you through smell-o-vision here. What I got here is my bowling alleys are created, and now I just need a guideline. So this is our first diagonal that doesn't go to this vanishing point. However, it will lead to somewhere along here. I don't know how far out. Now I got a decision to make. Do my tiles, when I decide how far forward these go, because I want to make them, let's say I want to make them this big, right? That's a ways away. So by the time they get close to me, they might look like they're really, really tall. They might look like they're that. So I might go really small. If I do, I want to put a guideline. If I want them to be small, I'm going to put a guideline pretty sharp across those lines. If I want them to be taller, let's say I wanted to have 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles, and that's actually kind of a lie, because this line here is kind of our missing one. We could do that right there, but we'll leave it for now. Let's say I want to go 3, and I want those 3 to go all the way up here. I want that to be the space, so that's going to be very tall. And before I even draw that line, your tiles, if you had them all squared up, if you had this all squared up like this, and if they're even tiles, like I've shown you in class, if I connect this corner to that corner, that will lead you to this corner, that will lead you to the next corner. So these represent your bowling alley lines here, and wherever those intersections are, right here, that's where we put our horizontal lines. We've already got one horizontal line here, but we need to know where the rest of them go. How big do they get? So if it's facing you, there is no getting bigger in a diagram like that. But in this case, I'm going to create a guideline, and you choose. You get to pick. Where do you want the diagonals to go? How big do you want your tiles to be? So I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go right about here. So I'm going to be very precise. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to draw this. And now remember that this line is where the step starts. It's not where the tile starts. So we're accounting for a little bit of change here. Okay, if I continue that through, I wonder if it'll meet this one right there. Okay, and if I continue this line, this will go back across here. So that's actually going to tell me, because if this was all missing, I would have drawn that one that far apart. That looks about right, doesn't it? Okay, let's see what this one does if we go vertical. It's kind of nice to have a ruler that's see-through so you can see your old line. That's right here. Okay, so these are looking fairly equal. Notice this one, if I move this over a bit, notice this one's a little wider than those two. These two look right, and that one looks a little wider. So something happened. I'm like a 1/2 millimeter off back here maybe. That's what it looks like I did. Looks like I messed up that distance. And so it's just 1/2 millimeter off, which makes a big difference when you get down here. But since we're not computers, we won't be totally perfect. So here we go. There's my guideline. All right. I'm going to make sure this stays horizontal. People tend to lean these over, so don't lean over. Make sure it stays horizontal. And I'm going to draw through. There's my first intersection. Is that going to meet? Maybe it's a touch higher. Okay. And I know that once that tile hits here, it's going to go up. So I can make a little mark there. Here's the next intersection. So I'm going to put my pencil right on there and push my ruler up until it stops. I'm going to make sure that my ruler isn't getting leaned over. Make sure it's straight across. And you guys aren't directly down. I got my iPad set up here, not directly down. And then there's this one. So look at the difference that we've gotten already. And the math has to work Because I said so. No, just because. Now this one's gonna happen not at this line because this again isn't a full tile. So this would have matched right there and would have come out somewhere here. So maybe this is the next one here. That's what it should be. No, I'm wrong. That's a different one. Haha. Nuts. Okay, so the tiling is different because remember it wrapped around here? Ooh, I almost messed that up. Let's do this. Here's a solution. We can pause the video. How would we solve this problem? How would we solve that? I'm gonna move this up a little bit so you can see. So pause it for a sec. Okay, so you're back again. If I draw this in regular space, really light line, I can still see where this measurement crossed over. In fact, I could do that all the way across. So if I look back, here's my measurement. So if I go like a see-through line right over there, as far over as I want it to go, then I can continue these tiles and that will give me the rest of them below that step. All right, so it's gonna be confusing because I got two sets of tiles working up here, okay, on this ledge. All right, so here we go. I'm also gonna take this one and I'm gonna continue that guideline and find out exactly where does it meet on the horizon line. So this one, if I've done it right, if I was a computer, this is where that one should line up. So for example, this box right there, I should be able to line those two up and that should line up with that corner. And look at that, it does. So they all line up like this as a coincidence. I only needed one line, but now that gives me more lines as well. Okay, do you see that? So cool. Good job, Mr. Fogarty. If I don't know where this corner lands, now I know where this one's gonna land. So I can move that over, make sure I'm horizontal, no leaning over, and it does not line up with the bottom of this step. So I got my tiling people will have to do some extra work trying to get that one cut. It'd be nice if it landed on purpose right there, hey? All right, so I'm drawing all this lightly so you can see it pretty dark. I can look at my iPad here and it looks pretty dark, but here we go. So pause that. You can go ahead and do some work here. I'm gonna work on this part and see what we get. See you soon. All right, so yeah, back to this one. So I'm gonna take this line underneath there. And again, just like I didn't need to draw the diagonals up there, I'm gonna take this one, line it up, and now I know where it appears. That's where the tile is gonna come from, underneath there. So it's not this line, it's not that line, that's a guideline. So I'm gonna go way the heck back there. Now, look, oh my goodness, look. I think I messed it up. Good job, me. Okay, let's go to the next one. So there's this one lining up with that line. As you can see, vanishing point to my line that's in behind that step. I draw that line till it comes out from under the step, and that should give me this. And then once I got a little bit drawn, I can move my ruler down, my straight edge, and draw that line. Okay, so that's how you do it. Once this comes up here, you could do another guideline that goes from this corner through here and across, and that should give you the same vanishing point as this. That should give you the same guideline, right? Like these ones all line up. If I pivot off of this one, those corners start to line up all together, and they should work. This one, however, all I need to do, as long as I go straight, I can just continue from that tile. And they're a little bit more compact because we're higher up compared to it. Or it's higher higher up than we are compared to it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles almost. All right, and that's how you do tiles. Right law. There you go. So you do your guidelines, and then you do, in this case, horizontals or verticals. That's where the verticals are going to go. So step number 4, horizontals. At intersections. Intersections. Okay. After that, I could go, this comes over, and I could draw up the wall. I could draw up the wall and up the wall. Oops, probably more like there. All right. So welcome back, everybody. Once I get a good job done on this, you don't have to do this today. But if you wanted to, you can go back in and add some colors, add some something, just to make it look exactly like you want. So I'm gonna take some orange and draw in my guidelines, just to symbolize that that is exactly the line that we started with, first ever. That is just a guideline, and when you do your drawings, leave them in there. Okay, leave them right in there so that you can get, boom, there we go. So that we can have that, all right? We can see where you came from. All right, now if you wanna make checkers, that's a common thing, or bricks, you can make a common thing like that. So if I was gonna do bricks, here's a Copic marker, they're a good quality marker. If you want to do tiles that are kind of like a checkerboard, I should say, then cool, you can do that. Take your time. Keep those nice sharp edges. And my marker is running out. Okay, but you get the idea. You could also do diamonds. You could take these bricks out if you wanted to, and you could say this is going to be a long panel. So if I took my eraser and went right there, so let's say that we started working with ceramic tiles, and some of our tiles all of a sudden became wood flooring, and they kind of meshed together. That's kind of a cool idea. Instead of just one line, you can have them mesh together. So if I had a brown color here, I think I have a brown. I guess I don't. There's a blue. So let me see. I'm gonna go on this yellowy paper. I don't know if it looks yellowy to you or not. There we go. If you can hear that, that's just my heat pump. So you can make longer tiles here if you wished, just by removing some of those lines. You can make some bricks, whatever you like. A little Irish there. There we go. And then this could be right there. Yeah, it really does turn like a turquoise, doesn't it? just kind of goes off my page. And then it dries. So different kinds of tiles meeting my ordinary tiles, but the same ratios and proportions, yada, yada, yada. All that stuff. And then all my mistakes I may have made in pencil, now I can go back and I can put it in with, I don't know, say a Sharpie. And I can say, I don't want those lines anymore. I want them to be clear, but I'll use one of these Sharpies and give it a little more line weight. And if you want it to look sketchy, then by all means you could do that, because now you get everything pretty precise. Now you could leave that edge if you wanted to. And I wiggle it on purpose. I could be like an architect. Okay, wiggle that and go past. Wiggle. Remember years ago, you guys are probably too young. They had wiggle, 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 and Elmo made like a video that was for Sesame Street based on that really famous song. Okay, so I'm being wiggly on purpose right here, wavering my lines, because where they intersect is still pretty precise, right? Hope if the ink made contact. Okay, so you guys can do that too if you like. See, so it's a little wiggle, but it looks like it's been sketched. Or you can stay really precise, it's up to you. Once I'm done, I can go back in with my eraser and get rid of all the lines I don't want to have. But notice I'm leaving, oops. Notice I'm going to leave my guidelines in there. So they're orangey, and I can see them, but they're not very heavy. So in terms of line weight again, these are pretty light. Okay. So yeah, that's that. So congratulations. Hopefully you caught up. Hopefully you're there. Remember that you're gonna draw this with equidistant marks along some sort of surface. It doesn't have to be at the back. You could have started in the front if you wanted to, as long as they're equal distances. As soon as it comes forward, it's got to change distances. Then you're going to make bowling alleys off those lines going to the vanishing point. Then you're going to create a guideline. Don't start with a vanishing point. Start with looking, just guesstimating with your ruler what size tiles that you kind of want to make. Same as if you started forward. Then you might find out wherever it hits a horizon line, that's a guideline vanishing point. So it's got its own vanishing point because it's no longer going the same direction. They're all going this way. Everything on the floor is going that way, right? If you wanted to do it this way too, you would have all these diagonals you could make diamond shapes out of, okay, on your floor if you want to make diamond shapes. There's lots you can do. So remember that works on the wall as well, works all over the place, and there you go. That's your job for today, is to put some tiles in inventive places. You probably got half your class left, so sit next to somebody who's going to help you out and can tell you a little bit. And I will see you guys in January. So if you're confused about this, do not sit in awe. Do not sit there and just go, oh, I'm never going to get it. You're just believing the lie. You can get this. All you got to do is look it up on YouTube. There's all kinds of videos there. And practice, practice, practice. You don't drown by falling in the water. You drown by staying there. So, don't stay in the water. Jump out, swim. Okay? If you already have this, share the wealth and help other people out. Watch this video as many times as you need to. Bye-bye.